What is up, you guys? It's Danny Explosion, yours truly, bringing you guys something I haven't done in a while. It's a top 10 list for you guys. The last top 10 list I did was top 10 death metal songs that I did back in, I think, October. So why not do another top 10 list? I got nothing doing right now. So no honorable mentions, top 15 thrash albums. Here we go. No honorable mentions, just straight through it. Number 15, Rust in Peace by Megadeth. This is my personal favorite Megadeth album. I just felt like the guitar work and the whole instrumentation of the album was the best. And I feel like that was like, Dave Mustaine's, strongest lineup, I felt like. But, yeah. Well, not Dave Mustaine's, Megadeth's strongest lineup. I apologize, I'm stupid. But yeah, I mean, this was all in all a really, really good album, and for some reason you haven't checked it out, I'll leave a link in the description. So yeah, number 15 was Rest in Peace by Megadeth. Number 14, Practice What You Preach by Testament. This is what I think is Testament's like their best in my opinion, because yeah, like some classic songs like the title track, Your Time Is Coming, Sins of Omission, Nightmare Coming Back to You. There's a lot of great classic thrash tracks on here that I really enjoyed. And Testament is just a great thrash band to check out. So I definitely recommend go checking out Testament. And my personal favorite album from Testament, Practice What You Preach. So yeah, number 14 was Practice What You Preach by Testament. Number 13, Tempo of the Damned by Exodus. This was Exodus's comeback album back in 2004 after, I think, 12 years? Because I think they released Force of Habit. I think that's what it's called back in 92, I believe. But anyway, this to me was just a fucking great comeback album for Exodus. I mean, tracks like Star Spangled Banner, War's My Shepherd, the title track, Tempo of the Damned, Blacklist, Shroud of Urine, just so many fucking great tracks on this album. And the instrumentation of the album was just phenomenal. Tom Hunting's drum work was just phenomenal. Gary Holt and Lee Altus, I think that's what his name was. And just guitar work was just fucking phenomenal. And Steve Zetrozosa's vocals just gave the album plenty of attitude that I just really love. So number 13 was Tempo of the Damned by Exodus. And I just need to get some water. Hold on. Alright, number 12, Swallowed in Black by Sadis? Sadis? I think that's how you say it. But anyway, this was just a fucking amazing thrash album released back in in the early 1990s. I just feel like Sadis just does not get the attention they deserve. They are a fucking phenomenal thrash band with just released so many great albums. Swallowed in Black happens to be one of my favorite albums. You got tracks like Black, Good Riddance, Last Abide, just so many great tracks on there. So I definitely recommend go checking out Swallowed in Black by Sadis. Number 11, Horoscope by Overkill. This album was just fucking phenomenal as well. Just so many heavy, hard-hitting tracks, like the title track, Coma, Blood Money, Thanks for Nothing. Just fucking great album with variety and song structures. They gave the album more variety, like the tempo changes and the guitar work. The whole instrumentation of the album was fucking great as well. That to me felt like one of Overkill's like strongest lineups. So yep, number 11 was Horoscope by Overkill. Number 10, The Years of Decay by Overkill. Overkill back to back. Hold on. Might as well pull it out for you. This album was the first album I listened to by Overkill that I actually bought. And this album blew me away. You just had so many heavy, hard-hitting tracks. Like, especially in the middle of the albums when it starts to get like more slow tempo-y and stuff like that. And then, like, the tracks start to get really slow and heavy. But you also got some fast, hard-hitting tracks like, Elimination, I Hate, Time to Kill, Evil Never Dies. Then you got like this really slow, heavy tracks like Playing with Spiders, Skull Crusher, and Birth of Tension. Just great, phenomenal thrash album. That's a classic. Definitely recommend go check it out if you haven't. Alright, number 9 is Pleasure to Kill by Creator. This was my favorite German thrash album, and Creator is my favorite German thrash metal band. And just, they've released so many good albums, and this one, Pleasure to Kill, was a fucking masterpiece of a thrash album. You had tracks like a title track, Ripping Corpse, Death is Your Savior, a few other tracks, but I'm a dumbass and I forgot them. But this was legendary thrash album, and I'd highly recommend go check it out if you haven't. Number 8 is Arise by Sepultura. This was my favorite thrash album for a while, and even though like there's still more thrash albums I like more than Arise, but this album really kind of changed my viewpoint, how I view thrash, because at the time when I listened to Arise, it was probably one of the darkest thrash albums, just because this album was like almost borderline death metal. But anyway, this album was amazing. This was back when Max Cavalera was still in the band. You had tracks like Dead Embryonic Cells, Arise, Murder, Subtraction. They had a Motorhead cover that was really good. Desperate Cry. Just so many flawless fucking tracks on this. So I definitely recommend go checking out Sepultura's Arise. Number 7, my favorite crossover album, Speak English or Die by Stormtroopers of Death. As you guys know, this is the band that Scott Ian and Charlie Benante. Charlie Benante's side project they did back in the that formed back in the mid '80s after they Anthrax released Spring the Disease, and this was a very politically incorrect, but yet a fucking awesome album. The politically incorrectness in this album just added to that thrash attitude that this album had. Just so many short but yet hard-hitting and heavy tracks like Pussy Whip, Douche Crew, March of the SOD, Sergeant D and the SOD, Milk, which was one of the first like thrash tracks ever that had blast beats. Just so many fucking great tracks on this album. So I definitely recommend go checking out Speak English or Die if you haven't. Number 6 is an absolute classic, Slayer's Rain and Blood. This is my second personal favorite album by Slayer. I'll tell you the one in just a few minutes. But this one was, I guess you can say, like probably like the first thrash album I ever listened to with Slayer. And just this album kind of really was like probably one of the albums that kind of changed music for me, led me to get into heavier stuff. And I still love this album today. I don't care what anybody says about Slayer, I fucking love Slayer. You had tracks like Angel of Death, Piece by Piece, Altar of Sacrifice, Criminally Insane, Necrophobic, Epidemic, Postmortem, and obviously Raining Blood. Classic masterpiece. If you're a metalhead, you probably heard it, so yeah. Number 5, Sepultura's Beneath the Remains. This album has grown to be my favorite Sepultura album. This album is just filled with wicked guitar riffs, just mesmerizing riffs, epic instrumentation, and very attitude-inducing vocals by Max Cavalera. That's all I gotta say. Check it out if you haven't. Sepultura's Beneath the Remains, number 5. Fucking awesome album. Number 4, Among the Living by Anthrax. This album just was fucking phenomenal. It was a thrash album with plenty of New York attitude added into it that is just fucking awesome. You just had tracks like Among the Living, Caught in a Mosh, Evil Nick Confess in NFL, which is backwards for Nice Fucking Life. I Am the Law, fucking I Am the Law on this album was fucking awesome. Just great, just a fucking classic. I fucking love this album. This album really, really means a lot to me. I'm not gonna go into too details, but yeah, Among the Living by Anthrax. Number 3. Number 4. Number 3 is Join the Army by Suicidal Tendencies. This album was just a headbanging good time. You had so many fucking awesome tracks on here. War Inside My Head, Join the Army, Possessed to Skate. I could go into detail so much about this album, but I don't want to make this video too long and waste all your guys' precious time. But this album was just perfect. I mean, almost perfect, because it just had, you know, just fucking wicked leads by Rocky George. Just Mike Mears just attitude behind his vocals. Just this album was fucking awesome. This is Suicidal Tendencies is one of my favorite thrash bands. So yeah, number 3 was Join the Army by Suicidal Tendencies. Check it out if you haven't. Number 2, Hell Awaits by Slayer. To me, I felt this album was, to me, Slayer's personal best, because this album just had 7 great planned out tracks like Praise of Death, Necrophiliac, Hell Awaits, Kill Again, Crypts of Eternity, Hardening of the Arteries. Just fucking awesome album. It's just because it had some progressive elements into that album that just made it like added more variety in the mix of this album. And I just felt like Tom Arai's bass tone was more heavy and hard hitting in that album, and like the guitar leads by Kerry King and Jeff Hanneman were fucking amazing, and just Dave Lombardo's drum work was just wow. And it was just a very, very dark album with a very dark atmosphere, and that's why that's my favorite Slayer album is Hell Awaits. So number 2, Hell Awaits by Slayer. Check it out. Number 1. Drum roll. Exodus's Bonded by Blood. This is the perfect thrash album. It has everything that you want. God damn it, I cannot explain to you how good this fucking album is. Just wicked leads, fucking awesome vocals, awesome drum work, awesome bass work. It's just fucking awesome. So many awesome tracks on here. I could name them all without even looking. Like, well, I already looked. So, like tracks like Bonded by Blood, Piranha, Strike of the Beast, Deliver Us to Evil, and Then There Were None, No Love, A Lesson in Violence, Metal Command. This album is fucking awesome and a thrash metal masterpiece. And I'm just so happy to own on vinyl with the original album cover. But this album, fucking phenomenal. I love this album, and this is why it's my personal favorite thrash album. That was it. That was the top 15 list for you guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to share like your favorite thrash albums on the comments below, feel free to. This was Danny Explosion. Cheers, stay metal.